In this video, I will show how to simplify trigonometric expressions in which trigonometric function is taken of the inverse trigonometric function. We always start by introducing the notation for the angle. So let's call what's inside of this parenthesis theta. So the question is now becomes very simple. That is, we need to find secant theta. So let's figure out what we know about theta. Theta is sine inverse of some numerical expression, and by the definition of sine inverse, theta must be between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2, because theta should be in the range of sine inverse. One other thing we know about theta is that sine of theta has to be equal to 2 radical 5 over 5, which we can actually rewrite as 2 over radical 5 to simplify the computations. And what does that mean? So we have an angle between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2, whose sine is equal to 2 over radical 5. By definition of sine, it is a ratio of r, it's the ratio of the y-coordinate of a point on a circle over its radius. So if I find a point with the y-coordinate 2 on a circle with radius radical 5, so let's draw a circle and let's assume that its radius is radical 5, and we find the point with the y-coordinate 2 in the interval between negative pi over 2 and pi over 2, then this picture will be a visual representation of everything that we know about theta. And since I'm looking for secant theta, I would recall that by definition secant theta is equal to r over x. That means all I need to know to answer this question is r and x, and I already know r, so I need to focus on finding x. And to find x, I'm going to draw this triangle, which is called the reference triangle. And in this triangle, we know this height is 2, and this base is the x-coordinate of the point that we are looking for. So we can find the x-coordinate by applying the Pythagorean theorem. So x will be equal to square root of square root of 5 squared minus 2 squared. So 5 minus 4 is 1. So x is equal to 1. Once we determine x, we can now easily answer the question. Secant of this angle theta is just square root of 5 divided by 1. Interestingly enough, we can also, using the same picture, answer other 5 questions like this. So we also know what's cosine of sine inverse 2 vertical 5 over 5. We also know what tangent is. We also know what cotangent is. We also know what cosecant is. And we also know what secant is, or sine, I'll put here. So this is what we know but the question is only asking us for secant. I'm just showing you that we know much more from this picture. So sine of this angle theta will be 2 over radical 5. Cosine will be 1 over radical 5. Tangent will be 2. Cotangent will be 1/2. Cosecant will be root 5 over 2. And secant will be root 5 over 1. So this is how we find or simplify the trigonometric expressions in which trigonometric function is taken of trigonometric inverse function.